this is Jo from Maths Tutor Me. Today we're doing some simultaneous equations. We've already looked at two methods for solving simultaneous equations. We've looked at the graphical method and the substitution method in some of my previous lessons. But today we are learning a new method called the elimination method. So in this method, you need to ensure that the coefficient of one of the pronumerals is equal in both of the equations. And to do this, you may need to multiply one or both equation in order to achieve this. Okay, so that means, looking at equations down here, you need the coefficients, which is the number in front, of either the x's or the y's to be the same. And in this case, you can see that both of the y terms have a coefficient of 2. One being a positive, one being a negative is okay, we can deal with that. So these ones here are the pronumerals that we're going to be eliminating. Okay, then the next step is then add or subtract the equations in order to eliminate one of the variables. Okay, so let me show you how this is done. So we look at our equations and we see that we have 2y in both of the equations. Now we want to treat this like one big addition or subtraction problem. So you want to eliminate the y's by either adding or subtracting. So to determine whether you need to add or subtract, you look at the symbols in front. If the symbols are the same, if they're both pluses or they're both minuses, then you will need to subtract the equations. If one is a plus and one is a minus, like in this case, you will need to add the equations. Okay? So then we add these like they're in columns. So 5x plus 3x is 8x. Minus 2y plus 2y cancels out. We get 0, which is what we wanted. So they have been eliminated. Then we have the equal sign. 1 plus 7 is 8. Okay, so then we have a nice easy equation here that just has x in it, and we can solve for x. If I divide by 8, gets rid of that, so x is equal to 1. We've found the solution for one of our pronumerals already, x is equal to 1. Then I need to substitute this answer back into one of the original equations to find out what y is equal to. It doesn't matter which one you choose, you'll get the same answer either way. So let's just choose the top equation here. So we have 5 times 1, so 5x, which is 5 times 1, okay, minus 2y is equal to 1. 5 times 1 is just 5. Okay, then we just solve to get the y by itself. So I subtract the 5, gets rid of that. So minus 2y is equal to 1 minus 5 is minus 4. And then we need to divide by negative 2 to get rid of that. And y is equal to minus 4 divided by minus 2 is a positive 2. And there is my second solution, my solution for y. Okay, so we could write our solution as a coordinate like we've been doing in our other lessons. So our solution, x is equal to 1, which would be first, 1, and y is equal to 2. 1, 2. Okay, let's try that again in the second question. Okay, 3 and a 6, the coefficients are not the same there. A 2 and a 5, not the same there either. So in this case, we are going to have to multiply one of the equations to make the coefficients the same. If I took the first equation and multiplied everything, so take everything there and I multiply it by 2, that would make this a 6x, which would make it the same, wouldn't it? So that's what we're going to do. 6x, I'm just writing this equation down again, multiplying by 2. So 3x times 2 is 6x, 2y times 2 is a positive 4y, equals 19 times 2 is 38. Okay, so now I'm going to ignore that top equation. I've used that to make this new one. So I'm going to use this equation here and this new one here to eliminate the x's because the x's are the same. Now these are both positive, positive 6x and positive 6x. So I will need to subtract my equations in order to have those x's cancel out. 6x minus 6x is nothing. Okay, that's gone. So let's look at the y's. Minus 5y minus a positive 4y. That's really minus 5 minus 4, which is minus 9y, equals minus 7 minus 38. All right, let's type that one in. Minus 7 minus 38, we get minus 45. All right, then we need to get the y by itself, so let's divide by negative 9. Gets rid of that. So y is equal to minus 45 divided by minus 9 is a positive 5. Okay, I still need to find out what x is equal to. So let's substitute back into one of my equations. It does not matter which one. We can even substitute back into this first one. Let's choose that one. So 3x plus 2y. Instead of y, I'm putting the 5 in. So 2 times 5 is equal to 19. Now let's just times the 2 times 5 to make 10. And then we can solve our equation. Subtract the 10. 3x is equal to 9. And then I need to divide by 3 to get the x by itself. X is equal to 9 divided by 3 is 3. Okay, and there it is. Our solution is x is 3, y is 5. Okay, so here are a few more questions, just like the ones we've just done, for you to try to see if you can remember how to do it on your own. So pause the video, have a try, and then restart to see the answers. Okay, so looking at these two equations, you can see that the 5y's, we have the same coefficient, so we don't need to change either of the equations. To make these terms here cancel out, we have both pluses, so we will need to subtract the two equations. So let's go 2x minus 3x is a minus 1 or minus x. 5y minus 5y cancels out. 20 minus 17 is 3. Okay, then we will divide by a negative, which will switch the minus sign over here to make my solution for x. X equals negative 3. Okay, let's substitute that back into the first equation to find out what y is equal to. So 2x, instead of x I'm going to have 2 times minus 3, plus 5y is equal to 20. Okay, that's following the first equation. 2 times minus 3 is minus 6, plus 5y is equal to 20. Okay, let's move everything away from the y. So first of all, add the 6. 5y is equal to 26. Okay, and then I'm going to need to divide by 5. Okay, y is equal to, now this is not going to be an exact nice answer here. So if we go 26 divided by 5, let's leave it as a mixed numeral, 5 and 1/5. Okay, so don't always expect that you're going to get nice whole numbers for your answers. Okay, so our solution is x is minus 3 and y is 5 and 1/5. Alright, let's look at the second question. Okay, the x's are not the same and the y's are not the same. Alright, what can we multiply by to make them the same? Well, unfortunately, we're going to have to multiply both equations. So you can choose either the x's or the y's. I might choose the y's just because they're smaller numbers, which means we're going to be working with smaller numbers after we multiply everything. So if I multiply this first equation through by 2, I multiply that by 2, and I multiply the second equation by 3. Okay, so see how this one was a 2, so I'm multiplying that one by 2. This one was a 3, multiplying by 3. That will mean that my y's will become 6y. So let's show that by doing this first equation. 2 times 7 is 14x. 2 times 3y is 6y. And 2 times 4 is 8. Okay, the second equation, multiply by 3. 3 5s are 15x. And 3 times 2 is 6y. And 3 times 3 is 9. So now both of these two equations, these new equations, have a 6y. So I am going to do my big sum here. I am going to subtract, because they're both positives, subtract to make them cancel out. 14x minus 15x is a minus 1x, or minus x. 6y minus 6y is nothing. And 8 minus 9 is minus 1. Okay, if I divide by the negative, that will make x equal to a positive 1. Okay, it's my first solution. Let's substitute back in. You could choose from any of these 4 equations to substitute back into. I'm going to choose the second one. Just because it's there, you can choose any one that you like. You should always get the same answer no matter which one you choose. So subbing x is equal to 1 into there, I'll have 5 times 1 plus 2y is equal to 3. And 5 times 1 is just 5. Plus 2y equals 3. Subtracting 5, I'll write that down here for you. You don't have to, if you're getting really good with your equations, you don't need to keep writing these little working out things here. So 2y is equal to 3 minus 5, which is minus 2. Okay, then I divide by the 2, get rid of that. Y is equal to negative 1. Minus 2 divided by 2 is negative 1. And we're all finished. Let's just write down our solution. X is equal to 1 and y is equal to negative 1. So there it is. You have now seen the 3 methods for solving simultaneous equations. Keep practicing this method. Make sure that you're confident with the elimination method, and I will see you next time. Bye.